Welcome to At the Nurses Station, a podcast for nurses about everything except the patients. Happy fall time, almost winter. It was hailing, not snowing earlier today, so we're all happy about that. I'm Sam. You're Kelly.
I am. I'm good. Speaking of the snow, it was my youngest's birthday, and my girlfriend gave him this like fake snow that you can like make, and it's like a sensory thing. Well, apparently he thought it'd be fun to take it out into the rain. And so I came home and there was a giant pile of snow in my backyard. And I'm like, what the heck? How did I miss snow? And it wasn't real at all.
It didn't melt?
Well, it did within like the day, but it was cold enough that it like kind of stayed in like a pile. And I was so confused.
Oh, that's real. I was thinking that it was just like when you were describing it, like goo, like that glue stuff that kids make.
Yeah, no, it's like this really fine, like almost looks like sugar. And then when you add water to it, it like turns into snow.
And gets cold.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay.
How are you doing? You just worked last night.
I did just work last night. Good. I didn't sleep on the couch this time. I slept proper in my bed, and I think it's okay. I'm okay. It'll be good. I have stuff to do today, so I don't really have a choice in the matter. But it'll be great. It'll be totally fine. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's how I've been. I feel like every day I wake up, the last week has just been super crazy. And every day I wake up and I'm just like, I have 100 things that need to get done, and can't keep up on it.
Mm-hmm. I did get a new mop, speaking of things that have to get done, and I loved it so much I went and bought a second one. So I have 2 new mops. I got rid of my old one, and so I have a mop that is just for like the solution water that has like how I like to clean, and then I have a mop that's just for the clean water, so I can get the solution off the floor before the boys dry it. And I was really excited about that this week.
We use one of the vacuum mops where it like vacuums and mops at the same time. And it's lovely.
Nope. I don't think floor care is something that you can cut corners and combine your activities like that, Kelly. Sorry. It all needs to be done the hard way.
Okay.
I don't like dirty floors or dirty socks.
Or dirty anything.
Actually, that's really true. That's an excellent point. Yeah, it was my mom's birthday over the weekend, so my dad and brother and Philip went out and celebrated. I was not invited. I just got to stay home and cry over videos while they all went. And
what? Why wouldn't you be invited?
Well, I mean, for one, I'm not a good drinker, so I can see how that would be a real joy kill. And I don't know. I think it's just time for them to bond over it. So it was good. But either way, they ended at a cigar bar. And Philip got home at like, I don't know, like 10:30 or 11. And
he was sent straight to the shower, wasn't he?
Oh, and I was like, take your clothes. He's like, well, can I take a shower and then put my clothes? I'm like, no, put your clothes in the washing machine. Like, go back to the laundry room, take all of your clothes off, put it in the washing machine, and then you can walk your happy little naked tush into the shower and do it all twice. Because
my gosh.
Don't get well, because like, I'll just put my clothes in the dirty clothes. I was like, not next to all of my dirty clothes. You will not. It's smelling like cigar smoke. No.
Poor Philip, walking around your house naked after he's drunk and had a good time. And then he comes home and his wife's like, no, now you need to do chores.
Well, there's always a chore to be done. He knows this. It's been 15 years. He's aware.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do have a question for you though. Last week I had a lot of, I did sort of like get in someone's face a little bit, Kelly, in like a professional setting. And I stand by every word that I said of it.
Okay. But wait, we're not professionals anymore. Let's make that clear.
Go
ahead.
Not as a nurse, I'm not, but
okay.
So we know that women's I know I feel bad because we have male listeners, but sorry, this might just hang on for a second, we have constantly fluctuating hormones, right? Like our hormones are not stable and they're not designed to be. They're always moving up and down, and they affect everything, like how hungry we are, our energy, what we look like, our personality, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So I was having a day and then was expected to go and do something professional, upstanding, visible to the public with a bunch of other people, and I was like, I kind of feel like there's this like double standard unfairness that we say, okay, we want women in the workplace and we want women represented in leadership, in government, in industry, in like commercial stuff, but they have to, I don't know, like, of course you have to be professional and you can't just like go off on people and you can't show up like in your sweatpants with, well, like what I look like right now. Like there is a level of professionalism that you have to meet, but there seems to be this like standard where none of what's going on inside of you by design is allowed to like affect who you are on that. Okay. Am I articulating this in like a way? Or like, I think it's kind of unfair. I think it's kind of like, well, I can't be like a man and just be exactly the same all of the time.
Sure.
That's just not.
Yeah. I 100% understand and agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Then it was just me venting, I guess.
No, I mean, I think we work in a profession where we actually can come to work and there will be times where you're like, I'm really sorry. I'm just freaking hormonal today. Yeah. And your coworkers will understand and be like, cool. I get it. But yeah, I think like people that have if people have a certain persona that they are expected to present, then they kind of get thrown under the bus if they're not presenting that the same way all the time in front of the public.
I guess it's just kind of that like, oh, well, she's being biatchy because she's like, it's that time of month. And it's like, well, it's always that time of month because my hormones are never at what time of month. It's always changing. So
you want the world to just understand that women are volatile creatures and just should never know, like be expected to act a certain way.
I think there should be an understanding that, yes, we're kind of volatile and it doesn't mean that we're like unstable or unfit to do jobs. It just means that like we're complex and have, I don't know.
Yeah, I love that.
What's going on? Yeah. And I'm not even.
Why did you get in someone's face? Like what happened? Are you allowed to tell me? Was it a man?
Huh?
Was it a man or was it another woman?
Oh, it was a very tall, bald, like 6-something man.
Yeah.
That was like on a panel for something and came at something that I represent and with like factual inaccuracies, and then said that this year it was going to be his goal to like delve into that and get in the middle of it and between certain groups in this. And so I went up to him and I was like, you're welcome anytime. Come to these meetings. And he's like, well, I watch a bunch of them on TV. And I said, no. If you're going to do what you said that you're going to do, then you can show up. They're all public and I can't wait to see you there, sir. There was more specifics said in there that I probably shouldn't repeat. But so then his only response to me was like, nice discussion. It's like, yeah. My jeans are really cute and my heels are really cute and I look professional today and I have my 8-year-old with me. So screw you, sir.
I don't think that that's wrong. I mean, and I don't know that you would have responded any differently if your hormones were better in the moment.
Oh no, that wasn't the incident. These are two separate, separated by many days.
I see. Okay. Well, I actually had a similar, well, not similar, but a moment where my life has been in upheaval. We took in another child that we're helping get on his feet. And I've just been under a lot of stress. And I went into work and our break room was boiling hot. Now, this has been an issue that we have had. So there is a provider office that is down the hallway from ours, and that's where that thermostat lives. And this one provider I hope she listens to this because we've had it, lady. Anyways, so we have had discussions with this provider before. She has actually cussed at one of our employees and she had to turn her in for workplace violence. All because She's cold, so she turns up that thermostat, and it makes our break room boiling hot to the point where we can't even sit in there. So anyways, I've been having all this life stuff happening. I'm stressed out. I walk into the break room. They have the door propped open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, has anybody said anything? And they're like, oh, no, I don't even want to deal with it. And I was like, I'll deal with it.
Today's the day.
Because I know myself, and I knew that I was going to blow up at somebody. And so if you want to be the one to present yourself to me with a problem that I can yell at you about, then girl, let's go. So I walked myself down there and very politely said,
Sure.
No, I did. I said, can we please turn the thermostat down 2 degrees? And she flips around and she's like, blah, just goes off about how it's so cold in there and she's not allowed to have a mini heater and blah, 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 blah. And I said, yes, I'm aware. We've had this conversation. You've had this conversation with multiple employees that I work with. And here's the deal is the comfort of one should not outweigh the comfort of an entire unit. And we cannot take a break without turning this down. And she just keeps talking. And I finally just said, great, thanks for your help. And I closed her door and walked away.
Did you turn the thermostat down?
No, I snuck in there later and did it.
Good job, you.
Yeah. So in the moment, it doesn't sound like I really laid into her, but my tone and my eyeballs definitely did.
Well, just having the conversation more than one back and forth really is more conflict than I feel like we're accustomed to having, honestly.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, maybe that's what we talk about. I think that happened with CT the other day. It was a good 5 or 6 minute call where we had to keep going. Usually I feel like when there's a conflict, you just kind of, one person says one thing and then you're like, okay, or whatever, right? But the IV wasn't good enough. And I'm like, well, this is a really hard chronic stick. Is there honestly anything that we can do to make this happen for this kid? Older kid, grant you, but still, honestly, what can I do? I'll go in and I'll aggressively flush the line because they're a clotter. So I'll try to get it really open for you. I can go retape it. I can go reposition it. We really cannot poke this patient one more time. I actually try to be nice, Kelly, not pissy like my usual. And she's like, I've already tried all of those things. And I've palpated her and I palpated the patient and there is a good vein in there. I said, you know what? This is an old enough patient. They can consent to you trying to poke. Then you're welcome to come over and I'll get the supplies. You can throw the line in. I already did that. She said, yeah, I know.
Shut your mouth.
No.
She already tried to poke him?
She tried to poke in CT.
Without
a teenager that has a 24 in the wrist and a 22 in the AC. And is a chronic, lifelong, scarred everywhere kid. So I already tried that. Then she has the freaking audacity to tell me, and I got in the vein. I just couldn't advance the catheter. Yeah.
Then you did not get in the vein. No.
My 8-year-old could stab a vein with a needle. It's getting the catheter in there. That's the trick, you moron. Oh, she's like, so I need somebody with ultrasound to do it. And I honestly started laughing on the phone. I just started chuckling. She's like, what do you think so funny? And I was like, oh, I'm just looking around trying to think of who I have that can do an ultrasound IV. No, I'm laughing at you is who I'm laughing at because that's a crazy thing to say.
I can't even with that. I don't know what's wrong.
We just sent an adult ER nurse literally over with the patient and they did it. They're like, oh, well, yeah, it works fine now. I just had to send a grown-up nurse over to scare. Oh, I was so not, I didn't even, can I tell, anyway, we're way off. Can I tell you the other thing that happened that night with CT?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I had a patient that had a power pick. Mm-hmm. So a pick line that's in the chest, right?
Right.
Not a Hickman, not a flippin' portacath, a PICC line with 2 little pigtails, whatever. She needs to get CT. She needs a CT with contrast because of her thing. I mark her ready, do all this stuff. No CT, no CT, no CT. I call. I'm like, hey, are you waiting for something for me? She doesn't need a peripheral. She's got this central, essentially, line. And she's like, oh, yeah, well, that is not compatible with CT. Same turkey, mind you, same shift. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. What do you mean? It says on the little clippies that it's, what is it? 5 seconds?
Yeah.
5 mils per second max. Yeah, that's not the actual port. That's just the tubes that you chose to access it with. I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, yeah, I looked at her chest x-ray and ports that are CT compatible will say CT on the port in the chest x-ray and hers doesn't. And I was like, oh, okay. She's like, and I saw when it was placed and she hasn't had any CTs done since it was placed. And I was like, okay. So I hang up. It has not occurred to me that she's used the word port.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like looking through the chart and I call her back and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to explain to the provider why we can't do this because this patient absolutely, she's also able to make her own decisions, like, alert enough and old enough, will not let me poke her arms. Absolutely refuses to have. So I'm going to have to talk to the provider about why you can't do this. And so she's like, well, I told you it's not CT. Her port is not CT compatible. It would say, I'm like, she doesn't have a port. She has a PICC line. Like, that is it, and I was like, it's like a Hickman, like essentially, like it's just, we absolutely cannot use a Hickman. I was like, turkey.
It's not a Hickman.
It's not a Hickman. It's like I don't know what your malfunction is today, but I am going to erupt. And so finally, she's like, well, we'll bring her over and we'll see if we can do it. I'll call the radiologist. Sweetheart, if you do a chest x-ray of me, I also don't have the word CT on my chest, but that doesn't mean that my port's not compatible with CT. It just means I don't have a flipping port.
Like, so did she get it?
She did. Of course she did. Anyway, okay, sorry. That's my that's my rant. Oh gosh.
These are the things that we deal with daily.
I'm sure that I say and do dumb stuff all the time because you watch me at work and people are like, Sam, why are you doing what you're doing? And that's fair. Often, I think sometimes I have a reason that I think is good, but might not be. So I try to be sympathetic. But this woman was on a roll. Well, her port's not compatible with CT. Neither is my imaginary port, ma'am. I don't know.
I think so everything we've talked about so far is basically people that don't want to be wrong or have no ability to think that what they're doing or what they're saying is wrong.
Yeah, I guess.
And that drives me up the wall.
Oh, yeah. But I also am a person that doesn't want to be wrong. So I try to remember that and not have
Yeah, but I feel like you probably got off the phone and said to someone that you trust, am I wrong about this? Or am I missing something? I don't think she did that.
Yeah, that's why I was going through the chart. I'm surely she's had a CT since she had this, or somewhere I was reading the op note of the placement to see if it said what it was.
Did you put in a Datex for a delay of care?
No, Kelly.
See, that's how you get them.
I know.
Because I guarantee she did not call and apologize to you.
No.
Right?
No. She did not. I mean, again, I don't like being wrong either, but I try to fall on my sword gallantly when the time comes, at least. It's not my favorite moment, but yeah. But the conflict, I don't know. I feel like it happens with us a lot at work. You have to be able to engage without flying off the handle and hold your ground when you insist to lab that you sent down the specimen and for a friggin' fact they just lost it.
Right. But you also have to know when to just say, great, thanks for your help and walk away.
It's true.
It's because I'm done engaging with you because obviously this is going nowhere.
And it doesn't matter that in the universe, I am right. Like, you're still not going to run a sample that you refuse to dig out of the trash where you put it. So
Right.
I'm going to have to get you another one.
Right.
No matter what. We were told last night that the tube wasn't cold enough to the touch that we sent down on ice. Maybe because it came out of someone's body that's not cold. Just a friendly reminder to lab. That's where we get our
Maybe your
specimens.
hands are cold. I have cold hands.
Like, right, but the blood is warm because it came out of a warm body.
Mhm.
Even if it's in ice, the blood will still be warm.
For a little bit.
Right. When you walk out of the room and send it immediately like you're told to do. It's just like, oh, is the matrix glitching, or am I having a stroke, or what's happening? I don't know. I wasn't allowed to go down to lab, though. The charge nurse would not let me. I wanted to take the next sample down myself.
Yeah.
I was told that I would, not allowed to. Can't go to nurse jail. So alas.
There you go.
Okay. Well, that was a fun little rant. Off the rails.
Off the rails introduction. Nothing we were planning on talking about today, but I love it. I love ranting, Sam. I can sit here and take the whole thing.
Man, that was, Anyway, so another thing that sometimes I sit through is listening to non-medical people talk about quasi-medical things, which is another practice in self-control and intrinsic blood pressure decreasing management. Maybe. I don't know that that's a thing, but it should be. Like, I'm not going to explode here in front of everyone. And so people were like talking about how they don't want to be sick and how they keep their family from being sick and the things that they do once they start getting sick. And by sick, they just mean like a viral illness is something of the world. And then someone was like, yeah, my son's has been sick 4 times this month, which I don't like how. I don't know what I can recover from and get again 4 times in a calendar month. And so it got me thinking, what level is reasonable to expect of the human body to, like, should we really be trying to not get sick? Once we're sick, should we, I was going to lay out a bunch of questions, or do you just want to start with that one?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I think that, I think a lot of parents have unrealistic expectations that their child's not going to get sick. And that's what we see a lot in the ER is you just have parents coming in because their child just got a fever. Like, okay. But like my oldest, she was sick her entire preschool year. Like always sick. There was runny nose, there's cough, there's vomiting. I mean, just constant. And I'm her stepmom, and her biological mom was like, why is she so sick all the time? And it's like, because she just got into school. She is being exposed to germs for the first time in her life. So it drives me nuts that parents just don't expect that. Like, you should expect when school starts, everybody's going to get sick. Yeah. You should expect that when your child goes to daycare, they're going to be sick. Like, that is just a normal human response to viruses that we're exposing them to. And guess what? She's hardly ever sick now. Like, because she built an immunity.
Well, and that's kind of my question. Is it really like, we call it sick, like it's some deviation from the expected response of the body that should be mitigated through like inputs somehow, whether that be like medicine or holistic or like whatever. But I'm kind of like, it's sort of like, it's actually sort of like a natural, like you wouldn't fall and like get a scab and then be like, well, how do I get the scab to go away? Like, what medicine can I have to get the scab to go away? And it's actually, the scab is what is supposed to be there to help the body with the condition that it's currently. Like, it is just a natural response to the body being here.
Right. No, I actually love that analogy because we have to explain that fevers are not dangerous. Like, fevers, like 99 times out of 100,
tread lightly,
are not dangerous. They are your body's response to kill what has entered the body. So fevers are a good thing. Otherwise, our body wouldn't have developed to have them.
Yeah.
Right? So a fever is just your body heating up to kill whatever bacteria or virus or fungus is invading it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, there's sepsis and there's, all these other things. Yes, you can have a febrile seizure, also not dangerous usually. But so really, when you come in, you tell me their fever is 104. I don't care. It could be 101 or 104. You don't necessarily need to treat it unless the child is uncomfortable.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
It's 2:00 in the morning and you dress your child in that micro fleece, whatever that you get at like Walmart and Target that all winter jammies are, that is unbearably like unbreathable.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a blanket over them. And then some people in this world keep their houses way hot in the winter because they're more comfortable. And then they take their child's temperature right then. And of course they're 105. Like I would be, don't you, when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're too hot, like you're hot. Anyway, that specific scenario, I'm like, yeah, they would be. Just take some stuff off of them. It's okay.
Here is the thing though, because people say this all the time, like don't put a warm blanket on them because they have a fever. That warm blanket is not going to change their temperature. Like the fever is coming from inside your brain. It's not coming from the exterior. Yes, I think that you could probably change temperature like maybe half a degree. I don't think you're getting 105 with clothing and blankets.
I disagree.
No, that's a brain. Your brain is causing the fever.
105. If your brain has meningitis, it's making you 105 intrinsically, but maybe you have like 102 fever and then you're, 3 years old and have no control over your environment. So you're wrapped up like a burrito.
Well, maybe your skin temperature is higher, but like if you did like an axillary, but if you take a rectal temperature, I don't think that
you're taking a rectal temperature at home.
But I'm saying, no, I'm totally going to argue this with you because you cannot raise someone's temperature that quickly with a warm blanket. You can't. Think about how hard it is for us to increase hypothermic patients with bear huggers and warm fluids and all of that. It does not happen quickly.
I'm just thinking about how hard it is for me to get warm at 4:30 in the morning with a warm blanket. And I agree with you. You're moving the ball now, miss.
Okay. And another argument is that I do have a child, my redhead, of course, who he's the only one that has had a febrile seizure. And he runs hot. If he has a fever, he'll be 104.5 and he'll be totally fine. Like that. I feel like there's some differences in people as well. Yeah. I have not had a fever probably since I was 10 years old. I do not create fevers, which is probably not healthy. But then like some people will have fevers all the time.
So fine. My point is more that don't walk into the ER and be like, oh, and then we woke up and took her temperature and she was 105. Yes, of course she was 105 because she's been laying in this bed in this room with these jammies on, with these blankets on for hours. Mm-hmm. So take it off and give her a second.
And give her Tylenol if you're worried.
She probably still has a fever, but it's just like the excitement over this, what is interpreted as a high and scary number. And it's just kind of like, well, yes, because you created this situation. She probably, yes, she has a fever, but it was not organically 105, or else she would have been 105 at 2:00 in the afternoon too.
Right. So. Well, you're right. And that's where the number really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
PSA to every parent out there, I don't care what the number is. I don't care. It's a fever or it's not a fever. Are they comfortable? Are they not comfortable? If they have a fever 103 and they're running around the lobby and you didn't give Tylenol, guess what? You're not being seen for a while because I don't care. That child is running around and is fine.
I do agree. I do feel like a fever is, for those of us that have been around a long time, diagnostically helpful. You're teething if your temp is under 101 and that's your quote fever. I'm not concerned about that. If you're a teenager who has the capacity to change their environment and communicate and tell me what's going on and your temp is 104, 105, I just, based on doing this for a long time, have a much higher suspicion that something horrible is happening, primarily meningitis.
Absolutely.
They just seem to be hot. Yeah. And scary.
Yeah. And so I guess I should reword, like, it's not that fevers don't matter. I guess fevers in a young child that's in daycare, it's in school, that has upper respiratory illness. That's where I don't care. Now, yes, if you have a fever and you have a wound, and you're tachycardic and pale, yes, I care about that fever. But that's where, like, the professionals need to decide.
God, we are never going to hear the end of this.
I'm going to say professional every sentence. That's, the professionals will tell you, like, yes, this is worrisome. Yeah, no, this isn't. And we can figure that out very quickly. But I feel like the general public
doesn't need this information.
Terrified of fevers. And it's like, meh.
Okay. So especially for kids, I feel like getting sick is not the end of the world. Like it should be, I mean, we really should have a different terminology for it. I think it's maybe part of the problem. So this,
like under the weather.
Yeah. Like
they're just a little under the weather.
They're just a little, they're dry.
To say.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like they just have a runny nose. I don't know. I feel like that's like, I don't feel sick when I break out. It's just like an unfortunate thing that happens to me, which might be like, well, you unfortunately have a runny nose or a cough. Cough is the other one. A cough is not going to kill you, for the love. Please.
No. And and the same thing with kids is a lot of them will have a cough for a month. Like, I mean, with some viruses, you're going to get a cough and it's just going to stick around. It doesn't mean that they're still sick. It just means that their lungs were irritated for one of the first times and they have nice, healthy lungs and aren't used to that irritation.
Or their little baby throat.
Yeah.
Like they just have a little. Okay. So what about the like quarantining of mildly ill? We'll talk like URI. Please quarantine your vomiting, diarrhea humans, because that has nothing to do with like the severity of the illness or who can get it or who can't. It is just miserable to vomit. And I just don't want that. But what about like the hardcore quarantine of like a kid that has like a cough or a runny nose?
Well, I think the general guideline is 24 hours after a fever that's not treated, you're no longer contagious.
Okay. Do you think though that it should be so intense? Like, oh, we're not going to go to that thing because like so-and-so has a runny nose.
No, I mean, but I feel like people have different comfort levels. I'm more of I don't really care as long as you're not vomiting or you have a fever. And my kids are going to get sick from the grocery store, probably more than they're going to get sick from this one play date, as long as the kid like covers their cough with their elbow and uses tissue on their nose and washes their hands. So
I feel like that's where I'm okay with medication. If we have to go somewhere, I will happily medicate you so you don't get boogers everywhere for 4 hours. And then you can be back to being symptomatic in the house. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't get that. Okay. How about the whole industry that has been created around getting unsick faster?
Well, that's our entire our entire culture is about fast answers, right? So like,
fast. I thought you said fast dancers. And I was like, please explain.
And if you want to dance fast, you can't be coughing.
Yeah, that's right.
No, like we want things fast, right? We want fast results. So I'm sick. I don't have time to be sick. So make me feel better so I can still go to work. Or make my kid better so he can go back to school. And maybe that's why they're sick 4 times in a month, is you didn't actually let them just sit and be sick for 3 days and work it through their system. I think maybe we try, and I know that like if I'm sick and I don't let myself be sick, then I get sicker. right? Like your body's just going to force you to
Oh,
stop
yeah.
and be sick.
And I actually don't think if we go back to like these low level reactions to viruses are actually like good for us and what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like H.G. Wells had an opinion on this many decades ago. We're not really helping ourselves, right? If we're just like, I'm going to down the elderberry syrup because it gives me a quote strong immune system so that I can recover. I guess like the zinc stuff, I guess I don't like have a moral dilemma with it, but I just kind of am like, just take fluids, take Tylenol if the fever is miserable, take a Dayquil if you have to go to work and you can't be like snotty and gross everywhere. And then otherwise just let
Ride
it
it.
be.
Yeah, ride it out.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, I think it's a cultural thing. I think we don't like to ride things out. Hard things are uncomfortable, and I want to be comfortable. Now, I will say I have this horrible, horrible habit of getting sick right before every vacation we ever take. Like my husband will testify, like we're going to Mexico in January, guaranteed 3 days before we leave, I will get sick. I don't know if it's my body's like stress response, like waiting for it. But I will use like Zicam or vitamin C, or something like that to try and get over something quickly if I have a vacation. And I do love me some NyQuil if I'm sick because I need to be able to sleep.
I also love NyQuil. I love NyQuil with a little extra Benadryl and an ibuprofen because there's not any in there. And because I usually can't tell the difference between a cold and allergy, I'll throw some like Claritin or Zyrtec on top of that and tell Philip, just come check on me.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's like bedtime, right? So, and I will give my kids NyQuil too if they're not sleeping because I feel like that's the biggest thing is you just need to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. So you do Zicam. Are you like a hardcore preventative on it? Like, do you take anything to like prevent getting sick?
Nope.
Yeah. Us either.
No, I mean, probiotics. I like probiotics, but that's more for my gut, but they say that helps. But no, I take a multivitamin and I take magnesium for my heart, but I don't do anything else.
I did. I was just in this conversation and it occurred to me like, why are we so...
But you drink fire cider. So you do preventative.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I suppose I was going to get to this. I guess I'm more in a believer of like, just like eating. I feel like you might not like this opinion. It's really more about how we live all of the time and what we eat and like how we behave on I don't think that like the weather can turn and you can start taking your fire cider shots or your elderberry syrup shots or your, like loading dose vitamin C's and expect that to make a radical difference in like 6 weeks. I feel like you have to be eating whole foods and healthy fats and like exercising your body and having lots of fluid just kind of at baseline to do that. And so,
yeah, I mean, if you're eating crap all the time and you don't exercise and your sleep, I think has a lot to do with it. Like any way that you're just not taking.
I used to comment on sleep health.
I know because we can't change it, but it does. I think you're setting yourself up to be more unhealthy. I mean,
and at risk of just like these low level sort of, things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my opinion on my fire cider is scientifically has no merit whatsoever in the whole world, but it makes me feel better about it. And so which I guess I will give that to the crunch land is if it makes you feel better about it, then that's fine. I guess in the moment of doing what I was doing, I was just quite fatigued with this like over, what is that? Like rumination over, that is not the right word that I'm looking for. focus on the illness of winter and fall. I'm just like, it is okay. It's really okay.
It's expected. It happens every year.
Every year. I guess I do have a soft spot for the babies that get RSV because that's horrible. But I also am
If only they made a vaccine for that.
Very hesitant about giving a brand newly birthed baby an RSV vaccine before they even leave the hospital. That seems like something I would have a problem with were I having new babies.
Okay, so we have to go there for a minute though, because we have in the past we have had children
tea left for this conversation
who are either unvaccinated or under vaccinated. A lot of people are doing this delayed schedule now, which, vaccine, it's your choice, right? Vaccines are your choice. But if your child then gets Hib meningitis, that is where I have a very big problem of you chose not to vaccinate your child. You believed whatever research you read, but now you're living the consequence of that. And your child will probably have neurological deficits for the rest of their life.
Kelly, why does it take us 40 minutes to get into this stuff?
So, explain that to me from the Crunchland, because I am a big believer in vaccines. Okay. I don't think they cause autism. I think that's silly. I trust the scientific community. I trust that we started with the flu vaccine back when there was a flu epidemic and, millions of people died. So how do you, especially as a nurse, how do you put those two things in your brain and make that okay to not vaccinate with that kind of risk?
Well, okay. Couple of points. I do think vaccine hesitancy is I like that term. From Crunchland, the anxieties are as follows. There's not, I think we've talked about this there. Maybe we didn't. There's not space to be skeptical in modern Western medicine. There's not a safe place for a parent to work out for themselves either way. There are two very intense camps. And that's where I try to be really sympathetic and understanding to parents that they see the aggression with which vaccines are pushed, and then the very quick turn of the attitude of the people pushing, should you in any way, shape, or form say anything that is contrary to that ideology or that, I don't want to say it, but that push. And I think that gives us all pause, no matter what it is. When someone's like, here, drink this soda or take this thing. And you're like, oh, well, no, it's really good for you. And it's going to protect you from lots of stuff. And if you ask even one kind of question, or if you say any one thing that's like, well, I read this thing, or my mother-in-law said this to me, or my friend said, and then people are like, oh, so you don't believe in science. So that quick turn is hard for some people to feel comfortable in that space. And so I try to, but then the same thing happens on the other side, right? Like, oh, you vaccinated your children.
Right.
And so I try to, especially at work, be really understanding of those decisions and be supportive. I think the other aspect of it is we say that there's this huge risk, and you are correct, but also statistically, they're not maybe a huge risk. It's not like if you don't get this vaccine, there's a 75% chance. So I think that I think that it's not hard to maybe look at the science, as you say, but the math is hard to follow, especially when it's always manipulated on both sides. So I think it leaves parents at this real, and then of course, you have families like you're talking about that have these horror stories, but then you also have families that are like, I birthed all 8 of my children at home and never needed any of this and never needed. And you're like, well, that's great. But this one mom had her first baby and had 3 nuchals and both of them, or had an abruption. So anyway, so that's where I try to be super sympathetic to it.
Well, and I think you made a really good point. I think that our community has far more to do with our decision-making processes, especially now with the internet and what we're fed algorithm-wise too, right? And so it's just, I guess, we're talking about getting sick, being sick, quarantining, vaccines, all those things. I think you also have to take your community into play, right? Personally, if I had an unvaccinated child or a high risk child, like when I had Jack and, Jack had a trach during COVID.
Yeah.
We quarantined. You had to be vaccinated to come into my house.
Yeah.
And that really pissed off some people. And I'm like, but I have to make this choice for him.
Yeah.
To protect him. Right. Yeah. So you have to look at the community around you and understand that that's fine if, you make this choice or you make this choice, but we all have to make the choice that we feel is safest for our child. And we're never all going to agree on that. I understand that. I do understand the hesitancy of vaccines, especially from people that are, that aren't medical or have seen a very rare vaccine reaction or are in that community where they don't see the consequences of not being vaccinated. Right. Yeah. But yeah, for me personally, it's really hard when we do see those, like the horror stories and it's like, oh, but if you would have just vaccinated,
but you can understand too. And I would imagine that I don't want to tell you what you can and can't understand, but I think that there's also, at least, again, what I try to affirm in these families is I get it. It's hard to differentiate when you have, how many vaccines are on the schedule? I don't even know. I'm going to say 15, maybe more than that, truly. Which ones are actually necessary for a super risky thing? Because chickenpox is not high risk. And yet we have a vaccine, but again, there's not space for them to really have that open dialogue. So they shut it down. And that's where I think if there was more,
I mean, with measles coming back, right? It's like, so I think that you're right. I think that we should have a conversation like rotavirus. If you don't want to do the rotavirus, just know that your child's going to get rota. And there's going to be a point in their childhood where they're going to be vomiting and pooping themselves for a few days and may get dehydrated. If that's the risk you want to take, that's fine. But I feel like if you did truly go through each one and say Hib could be very deadly. Maybe start with that or, for each age. So maybe we could be better at that. On the medical side of being open to those conversations and here are the risks of each thing and let you choose.
But that also requires, and I think the same conversation can go when we talk about the percentage of people that vote. It's we want everyone voting, but that takes a population that is well educated to a certain point and takes the time to look at what's going on. And we just overwhelmingly don't.
Well, and I think that we fully vaccinate. I've never questioned it. But I feel like the other side, for whatever reason, it's all of a sudden we're against all vaccines. Yes. And now if you don't want tetanus,
No, you
Tetanus
do
is
not.
a really horrible, horrendous way to die.
It's also a one and done.
It's like you're dead if you get tetanus, and it is painful and it's nasty. And so when I have like vaccine hesitant or anti-vax people who their child sliced their leg open on metal and you're refusing tetanus, that's where it's like, oh, wow, we really need to have a conversation of what tetanus is.
But I've seen you with patients of all kinds, and I know that you can have that conversation and you can enter into that space and you're very sympathetic. And I know that we have some providers that can, but I think what really, oh man, and I love a lot of our providers, but what really lights a fire under me is when you have a patient that has a fever and doesn't feel good. And then the provider, or sometimes the nurses come back to the nurse's station and are like, well, I mean, what do they expect? Now we have to do all of these labs and all this stuff because they're not vaccinated and they have a fever. And it's like, well, there's still 100 freaking million viruses that we don't vaccinate for that could have caused this. And how dare you belittle, we're not allowed to talk about any other patient group that way, or we wouldn't change our.
I think we pretty much talk about every patient group that way.
We can. I think that there's just
maybe if you didn't shoot up, you wouldn't.
Yeah. Well,
maybe
if you didn't do drugs while you were pregnant. Right. Yeah. No, I feel like there is this quick turn and then that parent is not taken serious. I remember in the middle of COVID, we had this little hypoxic baby, and one of our providers that isn't with us anymore was just so rude and condescending to this mom. Like, no, you have to be admitted because your baby needs oxygen. And she was just terrified of being in the hospital, that they were going to make her get vaccinated, that they were going to keep her baby from her. And all I did was go in there and sit down and was like, tell me what concerns you, talk me through it, and I'll talk to you about what really happens and what's really going to go on. And if you still choose to leave, you totally can, but we'll also talk about the risks of you leaving. And just with tetanus, as an example, just being able to enter, there was a mom in our homeschool community that was made very terrified by another mom about her son going to work in a different state for the summer and what would happen if he got injured and went to the ER and what they would do. And she came to me, she's like, I'm like, listen, none of this is true. This is what will happen. And they're not going to, you're going to sneak it while we're in surgery or whatever. And I was like, and we did talk about tetanus. And I was like, honestly, and it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't have to be all or nothing, but I do get a little peaked when we have, they have a fever and they just didn't vaccinate. What did they expect was going to happen? We have kids in here freaking all day long that are vaccinated and have fevers. So I don't, what do you want? I don't know.
I think it's the thing that I don't understand is that the belief that you're going to come into the ER and I'm going to vaccinate you. That quick reaction of, when I say, are you up to date on vaccinations? No. And you are not going to give them any. I'm like, I don't have them. I can't do that.
Where are they?
It's just, and I always say, I'm like, it's just a box. I have to check. It doesn't affect me either way.
That's exactly what I say. I follow that question immediately with, do you feel safe at home? They answer, and do you feel safe at home? And then I'm like, I can't end on the vaccine question, even though it's the last one on our form, because it's so, what time is it? It's so, turkeys. It's so stressful. What was there was one other thing that there was one other question. Okay. So dang it, Kelly. So the Hib meningitis you're talking about, now the child has to do the consequences of that. And we talked about in the foster system, how children don't have rights. I was watching, I think it was a dramatization of an actual event, but the idea of consenting one child to donate and go through a medical procedure for the benefit of your other child. And kind of the moral ambiguity of that, or even, really to some extent, it's consenting to have medical procedures done, especially if you have like a chronic child. And anyway, we don't have to get into it today, but that was when you're talking about like living with the consequences of your decisions. We don't, which I don't think that we could, this would be so draconian, terrifying. But if we held parents responsible for Hib meningitis for something that a vaccine is available, we don't hold parents responsible for fetal alcohol syndrome. We don't hold parents responsible for.
Well, like, no, not legally.
But I'm
like, you know, unfortunately, that's a natural consequence.
I know.
Yeah, for our children. And our children have no, like you said, they have no rights.
They have no recourse for it. It just, well, anyway, okay. Yeah. So, getting sick. And just ride out the flu. Tamiflu's not worth it. Can I just?
Oh yeah, Tamiflu causes diarrhea
and vomiting.
Yeah,
and it's just somebody owns a lot of stock in it somewhere, I think, and I just
maybe for high risk patients that might be the only time that Tamiflu may be used, but I don't know. We don't really use it that often.
Well, our providers don't prescribe it anymore, but you remember like 2 years ago, we were prescribing it like left and right and having to give it before they left and wait for it to come from pharmacy. And then they vomit everywhere. And you're just like, yeah, this is too much for me. Okay. I have a fiddle class to get to really fast. Do you have some questions? Not for me.
I just have I have a follow-up question because it's really been bothering me that your children don't get Christmas presents.
Oh my gosh.
I can't stop thinking about it. So I just had a couple follow-up questions.
Okay.
Do you and Philip get presents?
Like for each other?
Yeah.
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I was going to say, if you are opening presents in front of your children.
No, we get stockings. So like there's like a shirt that I think that he'll like that I'm going to try and find, and I'll like put it in his stocking. What did I tell him? I wanted like I like ripped my tights like all the way down the other day when I was like running around all day long dressed up. And I was like, you could put like new like tights in my stocking. That'd be great. So like little stuff like that. But no, I don't get like a diamond necklace or something amazing, a new Lexus for Christmas. No.
Yeah, no. So, wouldn't that be a thing? Yeah.
Was that your own?
That was my big question.
Okay.
I was telling people at work, I was like, what do you think Sam would do if I dressed up like the Grinch and I bought her kids a bunch of presents and I showed up at Christmas and I was like, I stole this from all the kids to bring to you.
I'd usher you out of the house and make you take your Christmas presents with you. We also don't buy Christmas presents for anyone in our family. Like I don't buy Christmas presents for my in-laws or my like family. I don't.
That's quite a money saver.
I know. That's why I had to do it. But we don't accept presents from them. Like it's not like a one-way thing. Like I'm like, do not get me presents. Mm-hmm. So yeah. That's it. That's all. So I just, buy whatever I want off of Amazon whenever I want it anyway, which is just is draining on my bank account probably. God, Amazon's a problem. How did we even get things before Amazon?
We had to go shopping.
Waited a week.
Black Friday's already like here, week before Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. That's a good question. Do you do Black Friday?
No. I mean, now that it's like 3 weeks online, yeah, I will buy things on sale. But no, I do not go out the day after Thanksgiving.
Did you used to?
I've only done it once and I will never do it again.
Really?
I don't think it's worth it. Like, it's crazy. There's people everywhere. The sales aren't that great. It's like, yeah, okay, if you want to buy like a big screen TV, fine. But no, I'm good.
We don't do it anymore. But before, when we didn't have kids, I always thought it was fun.
I find that chaotic. I don't go to Costco on Sundays. Like, I'm not going Black Friday shopping.
That's true. Costco, the hour before it closes is the only time to go. Okay, really fast. What's the best recipe you've made recently? Like new recipe that you've made?
Well, I made curry a couple days ago, and the kids actually really liked it, even though it was super spicy. So that was good. And I could hide all sorts of veggies in there. So yeah, like curry from scratch.
Like with a meat or just
Yeah, it had chicken, and then had squash and zucchini
oh wow.
and carrots. Like I got the multicolored carrots.
From Trader Joe's?
No, from Costco.
Oh.
And bell peppers, like red and yellow bell peppers. And then you cook it all in the curry sauce with coconut milk and chicken broth, and then put it over rice.
I wouldn't eat that.
Okay. I didn't make it for you.
Stuff going on in there. Okay. I made a French onion soup mixed with like cream of potato soup. Like I didn't like mix them together, but it was like a weird recipe where you kind of just like did both, and it was so good. Did
it have chicken or anything? Potatoes?
No, it didn't have any meat in it. It had potatoes. So like I cooked like the onions down forever, like a French onion soup, and then added the beef broth and like a bunch of potatoes and cooked it. And then at the end added like heavy cream and then the cheese on top. And even my children, who had been whining about it all day as I was cooking the onions, like devoured it. You're making onion soup? It's like, shut up. It's what's for dinner. So you can starve or you can eat it. It's your choice. And they ate it. It was really good.
Nice.
I have a fun question, but I think it's going to take too long, and we're already going. So do you have like one more maybe?
Let me see.
Okay.
Okay. What's your go-to dance move? Like, do you have like one like move that's like your go-to?
No, I don't dance.
Oh.
Like in public?
Yeah, you swing dance.
Yes, so we country swing, but the secret of that is that's really just about Philip making me look really pretty on the dance floor. So I don't have any moves. He has to come up with everything, and I just want to be spun around. So, but no, I used to go to dances with my friends in high school, and I would just find something else to do.
You're so lame.
I know, Kelly. I keep like seeing this thing on Pinterest that's like, I'm not unfun because I'm tired or crabby or whatever. It's a totally separate choice that I've made in my life. Yeah, that's exactly right. What is your dance move? Can I guess? Hold on.
Sure.
So there's like the lawnmower and the like fishing thing and the like sprinkler and the Elvis. Mm-hmm. I think you're something with jazz hands. Oh.
Yeah, I think it's hands up.
Oh, hands up.
Like hands up to shoulder level. Like
that's like, is that like washing the windshield? Is that what that one's called?
Sure. Yeah, we could say that with the hips. Ooh.
You know, you're going to get asked about this, and you're going to have to do it at work. I think that your new one should be the shimmy.
The shimmy?
Right. That's what you have to do now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The top shake, half shake.
Was the dad walking around the unit yesterday? I can't even like say this word out loud. What his shirt said on it was the T word.
Oh,
for
just that?
We couldn't figure out what the rest of the shirt said, but that was what was like in big, bold letters was just EITTIES. And I was just like, oh, that's uncomfortable, sir. Please.
Did he have any of those?
Probably.
I feel like
men
that wear those shirts probably have some of their own.
Oh, I was just made very uncomfortable. And then the other nurse kept saying the word. I'm like, can you stop? I can't. I need you to stop saying that at work, please. I can't do it. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, this is At the Nurse's Station with Kelly and Sam. Thanks for joining us. We will be back.
A little bit of a schizophrenic episode, but
we'll be back next week. Please like and subscribe. Leave some comments. And we'll save you a seat at the Nurse's Station.
Bye.
Hey guys, this is Kelly from At the Nurses Station. Sam and I would like to remind you that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are strictly our own and do not in any way reflect the position of our employers. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and in no way should be considered medical advice. As always, consult a qualified medical provider for questions regarding your health or medical conditions. We hope you have fun listening to us today, and we'll see you next time at the Nurses Station.